Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to syracuse.com's SOS Spotlight Athlete of the Week. Today, we're again lucky to be joined by a champion. It's not every day you can say that. Kian Long, a senior diver from Mexico. Thank you for joining us in your free time in the winter break.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
Great. Well, Kian won the state qualifier a couple weeks ago for Section 3 and is off headed to states next week to Ithaca. So we'll start there. A lot of good divers in this section. Yeah. You obviously came up pretty big last week. Looking back, what was it that separated you from the rest, and did you surprise yourself?
Coming into this year, I wasn't projected to be the top diver, but I let that fuel me to, in practice, try to get better and get better. And eventually, during all our dual meets, I would get better and better, scoring more and more points. So when it came to the big invites where everybody in the section would meet, everyone's like, oh, we got this in the bag. And then here I come climbing up the ranks. So eventually, at the end of the season, once it was the big meet where everybody was going for first place, I came out on top, which that was a great feeling.
Well, you're a very busy guy. You play multiple varsity sports in your career. You've played soccer, cross country, football, baseball, and of course, swimming and diving. Going back to the early days, we were talking about your initial love of diving. You were just a little kid, 3 years old, and you had no hesitancy just putting on the life jacket and diving in off boards, flipping around head first. I know that's a long time ago, but what do you remember about the sport and your initial attraction to diving?
I just know going back to that time, it's just something that I would do. I would try to show off for people because, little toddler in a floaty, they don't go off diving boards. It's not normal. So whenever I had the chance to show off for people, I would just get up there, throw stuff. It was fun for me, and it made other people kind of like, I don't know, watch me more. So they were like, oh, this is pretty cool watching a 3-year-old do flips off the board. So ever since then, I've just always been, all right, how many flips can I do? And every time I have people over, I'm like, all right, how much can I show off on the diving board? So.
Sure. Well, those of us who have no experience in that area can't really relate to just chasing away the fear and diving head first and flipping around and flipping over and flipping backwards. Has there ever been a fear element to the sport, or has it always just been crazy fun for you?
It's pretty much just been real fun because I had a trampoline when I was younger, so I would just be used to doing flips on that. And then eventually it led in for me going into the water, which would be the diving aspect. So I changed from what I would just mess around outside, going on the trampoline, doing like front flips, back flips, all that, to putting it onto a board, doing more flips since I have more time, more back flips since I have more time. And then it's just eventually, it's probably the most fun sport that there is.
Yeah, and the unique thing about diving, much like, say, I don't know, figure skating, there's a huge creative aspect to it, and you're judged on that. So not only do you have to be athletically sound and sound technique wise, there's a flair you have to develop as you grow. The creative side. Tell me a little bit about that side and how that sort of evolved and how that appeals to you.
So in my list for my 11 dives, I have a couple dives in there that not normally somebody would have. So whenever I do those specific dives, judges are like, wait a minute, I don't see that often, so I'm going to score that a little higher. So the more creative I can be with like those different dives that normally people won't do, I can get higher points. So I try to get as many as I can, but the ones that are different with high DD, those are the really important ones.
Now, this will be your second trip to the States. The first one was certainly commendable, but a bit of a learning experience. You didn't get past the first round. You've spoken of, I was readjusting your goals this year to go into the deeper rounds and perhaps make the podium. But that's going to take, of course, improved performance, more degree of difficulty. You have these couple weeks to work on that. How is that going, and how in such a short time do you kind of step up your game from sectionals to states?
I guess right now I'm just in that mentality where, all right, it's states, it's the biggest meet of the year. I need to get in my head right now and start focusing more. So right now at practice, I'm doing my 11 dive list, and then I'm looking at dives with higher DD going, all right, which one of these do I want to go for today? I think yesterday I was throwing a back 2.5 somersault, which is a 3.0 DD. So if I can end up landing that, which that bumps up DD, it's a dive not many people do. So it adds in that creative aspect where, all right, they don't see it, they'll score higher. So right now I'm really focused on I'm trying to nail all my dives and then eventually try to nail those higher DD dives to add into the list so I can get more points.
Well, we've got a little time. It's more than a week away to that. As you assess the competition around the state, do you have a feel for where you are? I mean, I know winning is the goal of everybody, but you've also spoke of perhaps just getting on that podium, top 10. Do you have a feel for where you are and where you might stack up?
This state is very good dive wise. I went down to Shenendehowa for a dive invite where I was with different kids from the state, and I got 5th at that invite. So I've met 4 other divers that made states at that meet. They're pretty good. I've met the divers from our section that have made the state meet. We're all pretty good. So now I'm kind of tossing in between going, all right, let me rank myself between the ones we have in this section, the ones from there was section 5 and section 2 at that Shen invite. So I went section 5 kids. Okay, I see who's here and I know what I need to compete with. The section 2 kids, I've seen what's there. I know what to compete with. And then section 3, of course, I know what's there and I know what to compete with. So I guess I'm just kind of putting them together and then going, all right, based off this, where should I be going into this meet?
Mm-hmm. Well, the state competition provides a nice bridge to your future because it's at Ithaca College, and you will be diving at Ithaca College starting next year. So they're familiar with you. You are familiar with them. It will be your home pool very soon. And we've spoke about how your future coach and teammates might be there checking out the new kid. I know you have to focus on finish off your high school career in Mexico, but what's the importance to you of not only turning in a good performance, but sort of turning in a good performance in the pool and in front of kids who might be your teammates down the road?
I feel that this year is important. I have week and a half, 2 weeks left in my high school career diving wise. So I'm focused on that and my future. So right now I'm like yesterday I was heading down to Ithaca just to go to the store to buy stuff. So I'm focused on like both at the same time. So getting ready, focusing on my high school career, but also focusing on the diving aspect of, all right, I need to be better and show off, like I said before, to these newer teammates of mine that, okay, they might not have seen me dive before, but they know I'm coming in. So if I can show them my best dives that I can do, they can go, okay, now I'm starting to get a feel of how he's going to feel with this team, how he's going to be at meets, and how he can score for us in the future.
Well, before we let you go, we'll pull back a curtain a little bit and totally reveal the secrets of your success. You've mentioned that in between diving rounds, the real reason why you're powered to such strong performances, you like to eat little Debbie cakes, specifically zebra cakes, I believe, right?
Yes, it is.
And before this sectional meet, you were running low, and mom had to go out and run around looking for them, right? You've got enough for states. How did that start? And really, how much do you attribute all your diving success to those wonderful little Debbie cakes?
Well, I mean, it's all started my sophomore year. It was at state quals, and I knew it was going to be a long meet. So I'm like, all right, mom, can you give me some like snacks for during the meet? She goes, yeah, sure, I guess. So she ended up getting me Little Debbie's zebra cakes. And since that meet, well, that was the first meet that I actually made the state qualifier score. So I'm like, okay, what was different here? I'm like, you know what? Got to be the zebra cakes. So ever since then, every time there's an 11 dive invite, I've always had them with me. And my score seems to be going up and up and up. So if I'm putting 2 and 2 together, it's just got to be the zebra cakes.
And to be clear, that specifically that it's not a particular donut or Twinkies. It's got to be Little Debbie's. It's got to be zebra cakes. Or else it's not going to cut it.
Nothing else.
So between the Debbie cakes and your, promising talent, we're looking for a big high school finale next weekend. You're all set.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. This is gonna be a fun meet.
You're all lined up. Okay. Okay. Well, we appreciate you taking time off from your vacation and training this week. And join us next week at syracuse.com viewers and readers for another SOS Spotlight Athlete of the Week video. Have a good week, and we'll check back with you in a few days.